take the headset off, it takes forever. I was starving. I haven't had anything since 6 in the morning. And then boom, I thought I'd sneak in a banana. Bad move.
And here he is, one half of the team, Donnie and Dolly on Czech Television, weekdays 10 to noon. It is our Friday regular and dear friend, Mr. Rick Dhaliwal with Sekeres and Price. We miss you up here, Ricky.
Yeah, it is. It's this is the first Friday, guys, before the season begins. Obviously, you guys are in Penticton. Good on you. And you're going to watch the Canucks prospects. This is it, guys. You can smell it in the air. Mm-hmm. The hockey season next week is training camp in Whistler. And just really, starting to feel it. Just starting to feel the hockey vibes and all that great stuff. And bring it on.
Absolutely. And we heard from Elias Pettersson this week in what I thought was a really mature and candid interview, Ricky, about everything that transpired last year and what's shaping up this year. I know you caught that. A word or two on what we heard from Elias.
I also read some of the stuff, Matt, that you were saying as well, and I agree with you. Look, this guy's maturity. You know, he's still only 23 years old. But I was really impressed with his interview this week upon his arrival in Vancouver. It takes time. You know, we forget these players arrive at such a young age after the draft. I know in his first year, his agent at the time and the Canucks PR department worked with him. You know, this how to handle yourself in the Canadian market, the ups and downs. It's not easy at a young age. These guys are not 10-year veterans when they come in, these high draft picks. You know, this isn't Columbus or Carolina where the media attention is so little. But you can tell that Pettersson worked on his physical and mental maturity here in the last. Guys, it's not just this summer. I think last year, year and a half, 2 years, you can tell he's put in the work in the offseason. But just think about this for a second. If Pettersson and Hughes, and I'm going to put Podkolzin, and I'm going to put Hoglander, all these young guys, if they all come back 10% better, imagine what that means for this Canucks team. You know, Daryl Sutter said this in an interview in Calgary last year. He wasn't talking about the guys over 30. He was talking about the guys in the mid-20s, if they come back 10% better, and what it means for his hockey club. You see, I think that Canucks young core guys is led by him and Hughes, Pettersson and Hughes, and if they come back 10% better. Yeah, but I was just really happy to see Pettersson, the work he did in the summer. I know it's early, and you know when the bullets fly in the regular season, there's going to be ups and downs. But really, just like you, Blake, really happy with that interview he did with the media earlier this week.
Yeah, it's optimism that we haven't felt in a while, and it's not like they made any massive moves.
No.
But they kept the quality that they have, and they've added to it. And again, no one's predicting a Stanley Cup here, but there's enough optimism for good hockey this year, Rick. And that, I think the players feel it. I think the fans certainly feel it. Fans get optimistic at the beginning of every year because they're undefeated. But it feels like the players are optimistic too, which I don't know that we've felt truly realistically for some time.
But you say that, Blake, and I think I read somewhere where you picked the Canucks to make the playoffs. Yeah. But I read something yesterday that Vegas and 5 other betting places all over the map are not picking the Canucks to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I saw the aggregation.
There's a lot of, yeah. I mean, I'm with you, Blake. I think the forward group with the Vancouver Canucks got a whole lot better over the summer. They clearly have a franchise goalie. They have a franchise defenseman. There's a lot to like. And the other thing, they got faster. The two things that Rutherford and Alvin said when they got to Vancouver, if you go back, the two things that stuck out to me were, we're too slow and we got to get younger, right? We got to get younger. So guess what? They go out and get Linus Karlsson, Arshdeep Bains, Niles Amon. They go get these guys, and then they go out and get this guy, Mikheyev, who is obviously going to help their penalty kill. There's one stat I read that blew me away. He was either 1, 2, or 3 in the NHL, Mikheyev, with shorthanded offensive opportunities. And that's just speed. He's going to make the Canucks faster. Lazar, Joshua's going to make them tougher. The forward group, goaltender, you got Quinn Hughes. So I'm with you, Blake. I see the optimism. I know people are whining they didn't do enough, but I can tell you right now, the flat cap caused a lot of problems for a lot of teams. And I can tell you something else, Blake and Matt. There's a lot of agents. You go look at what Tyler Mott got. You go look at what Tyler Mott got in Ottawa. That is not what Tyler Mott was asking for. But it was a flat cap world. The bottom six got squeezed out. There's a lot of agents that have contacted me, and I've talked to in the last few weeks, who are saying this was one of the worst summers for UFAs. Mm-hmm. This was a horrible summer for guys that were looking for, Tyler Mott wasn't asking for $3, $4, $5 million, but I think he was asking for more than 1.35. And, God bless him. He got his deal because there's still guys out there. Sonny Milano's out there. Jake Virtanen's out there. PK Subban's out there. And everyone's out there, and they're clawing and fighting for every penny, guys. It was a really, really tough summer, all caused by the flat cap.
We're now a week away from camp, as you noted, Rick. I mean, are we at the point where the Canucks may just go, wow, this guy on a PTO just because he may have to settle for a PTO? Could you see any more PTOs coming because of the market squeezing guys out?
That's a good question. It's a good question, and we asked Kojak, Thomas Strantz, that on the show today. Listen,
that's not nice.
Hold on a second. I call Thomas Kojak all the time.
Okay.
I put pictures on Twitter.
All right.
Kojak with the lollipop. He's okay with it. He knows that. He calls me names. I can call him names if I want. Anyways, listen.
Who loves you, baby?
One thing. Who loves you, baby? The lollipop. Kojak was it was a good show. Let's be honest. And he does look like Drance.
Oh,
if you really look at it, he does look like Drance. Anyways, can I get to my point,
Yes.
Matt?
Well, no, actually, I have a question that begs asking now.
Okay, go.
Tom Selleck and Magnum PI, or Telly Savalas and Kojak? Who's better? Who's
Tom
best?
Selleck, come on.
No, Tom Selleck.
Okay.
He had the mustache. He was voted the most sexiest man alive on People magazine back in the 80s. Magnum PI was, look at Henderson shaking his head.
Right.
Henderson has no idea shows in the 80s were the best TV shows and music in the best decade ever for me. Now, listen, Chase on signed that PTO, right, guys, in Arizona? I can tell you right now, Jim Rutherford loved Chase on. I told you guys this last week. But what it looks like to me when he goes to the PTO in Arizona, it tells me that he wasn't going to wait on the Canucks longer. And what I've been told for a week now, two or 3 weeks now, is the Canucks got $1.3 million to play with, right, guys? I've been saying for a while they're going to be patient with that money, right? They could have Calvin DeHaan. They could have with Chase on, and they bypassed both. And so, you know what? That tells me they're going to be patient. And I told this to you, Blake, last week, the waiver wire. And Thomas agrees with me, is that, you know what? Maybe you get somebody on the waiver wire. Maybe there's a young right shot defenseman that is better than your options as a UFA on the right side. Sometimes stuff pops up on the waiver wire and you're like, oh my God, this guy's available. So, Canucks liked Chase on a lot. They loved his leadership on and off the ice. But I got a feeling his agent was not going to wait around for the Canucks much longer.
I wish they had just a smidge more space at this waiver deadline, because I have a funny feeling there's going to be an interesting name.
I think so. Yeah.
In that final few days too.
Blake.
I think there are going to be some financial decisions made that liberate good hockey players.
Yep, I think so too.
And some value to be had there as teams get about setting their roster. Okay, we're here at Young Stars, and of course the biggest young star in the Canucks stable is Jonathan Lekkerimäki, the first-round pick this past year, who was over in Sweden playing for Djurgårdens in their Swedish league, Allsvenskan season. I know you talked to their general manager today. What can you tell us about Lekkerimäki, Ricky?
And the reason I did, guys, so just to give you the background, obviously the Canucks have they're the only team in Penticton without any first-round picks, right? So, obviously, Lekkerimäki, if he's playing in the Canadian Hockey League, probably would be in Penticton, but he's in Sweden. His season's underway, so it didn't make sense. Anyways, remember the Swedish coach kind of ripped Lekkerimäki after the World Juniors? So I kind of I wanted to get an update from somebody overseas on how he's doing. He's at the Djurgårdens in Sweden playing pro hockey. I talked to his GM, KG Stoppel, today. He says he's injury-free, he's sickness-free. He was battling mono since I think March or April, guys. But here's some interesting things that he said. He's on the second line, getting power play time. He's getting better and better every game, learning every day. The thing that the GM said, guys, that really stuck out, he said his skill around the net, his shot, he has not seen that kind of skill from a young player in Sweden in a long time. He's got to work on his passing. He's got to work on his speed, move your feet more. They got a captain there on that team, Blake and Matt Marcus Kruger of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So he's the captain, and he makes sure the young kids focus on the right things. They got 4 kids on that team in Sweden that are 18 years old, including Lekkerimäki. I just wanted to get an update on him because in a perfect world, the Canucks would like to have seen him in Penticton, right? First round pick. He's obviously on everyone's list as the top prospect for the Vancouver Canucks. And when the Swedish coach ripped him after the World Juniors, I just wanted to get a little bit of the lay of the land, how he's doing. He's doing fine. I think he's over mono. He's got no injuries, but a lot of skill.
And he's playing on what team again? He's playing what team?
I knew it. I was just waiting. And you know what?
I was just curious. I didn't hear it.
I purposely said the Jagardens only once.
Yep.
And I knew Blake Price, Harvard, Princeton.
I was going to compliment you. I was going to actually ask you if you have Swedish background because it was just so impeccably.
No.
Man, hold it a sec. Blake, just tell me the truth. Did I say it right or wrong?
You said it great. You said it the best.
As only Rick Dhaliwal can.
You said it great.
And frankly, him and his Harvard smart mouth, Rick, I'm going to praise you for the umlauts and all the accents that you're putting now.
I don't even know what that's
Swedish
I don't even know what that was.
I saw that Jeff Pettersson tweeted about that. Look at Ricky. He's got the umlaut down. He's got all the special character keys.
No, that's copy and paste. You know that.
Oh.
The copy and paste. Can I quickly get this in? Look, I just wanted to say one thing that has surprised me heading into this season is last year Abbotsford was a very veteran team. This year they're going to be very young. And I was a bit surprised by that, guys. But they got to get ice time for Carlson, Amon, and Arshdeep Baines, all these young kids that get that. Mm-hmm. Up front, they're going to be okay. I'm worried about the blue line. A lot of unknowns. No Madison Bowie back there. And if Jack Rathbone stays in Vancouver full time, there's no call up in Abby on the blue line where you're shouting that screams, that's an NHL guy that's going to fit in the hole in Vancouver. A little worried about that. In goal, they should be fine. Still waiting for Mike DiPietro, that situation to resolve itself, guys. I talked to his agent earlier this week, and the agents are working to try to get Mike into a better spot. Mike DiPietro, obviously, I think we know that he'd like to get moved, and the agents are working on that. But you know what? Here, last bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're going to be younger, but I really like this head coach, Jeremy Colleton. He knew coming in that he's got a good reputation working with young guys. He knew coming in Abby was going to be young. He was told that. He knows the drill. He was a second-round pick in the NHL in 2003. He only played 57 games. You know what that tells me, guys? He knows the ups and downs of prospects. He knows the ups and downs of first-round, second-round picks. He knows what Jet Wu's going through. He knows that Jet Wu was played as a forward down the stretch last year, and he knows what he can sit Jet Wu down and say, hey, listen, Jet, I was a second-round pick. I went up and down between the Islanders and Bridgeport. I did all that stuff too. I really liked the hire by the Canucks in the farm team, a young guy for a young team. I really like. I had a chance to meet Colleton in the summer. He's a really nice guy.
I'm a little surprised to hear you say that about the blue line. I mean, if Rathbone sticks and Pullman is there, and they keep Kyle
I'm talking
Burrow.
about the Abbotsford blue line.
I'm just working backwards here.
Okay.
If they keep 8 defensemen, let's say Burrows is the 8th, that still leaves you with Juleson, Wolanin, who they signed, and Kalynuk, Wyatt Kalynuk.
Yeah.
So
there you go. I'm pulling Matt. Having trouble.
Touche,
Rick.
Scared. Touche, buddy.
You're probably scared because the guy next to you is just ready to pounce on you.
He's so intimidating. He really is. Like, he gives you that glare, Rick.
Yeah.
But those are all guys who have played NHL games.
Yeah, I forgot about him. But after Juleson and Wolanin, it gets pretty young.
No, that's fair.
That's all
and you're not excited necessarily, and this is all due respect to Juleson and Wolanin. Like, you're right. You're not going to get fans clamoring for that next guy up.
Yeah.
Hey, Let's give credit though. When Juleson came up last year, he
He's fine.
did fine.
Yep.
And there, remember the game in San Jose? Him and Burrows combined for 20 hits, both of them.
Yeah.
They had a great game. Yeah, you're right though. Juleson and Willanen are two guys that I was talking about the younger kids.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
There's no young defenseman there who,
Yeah,
unless Wu, I hear what you're saying.
Well,
but,
hey guys, Nils Lundqvist is not showing up to Rangers camp.
yeah, no, Lundqvist.
Claude Lemieux's agent says we're not going to go back, and so you know what? But then, okay, Blake, if you want him, Lundqvist, what are you coughing up?
Well, and also Drury's proven he don't care.
Yeah, he waited out Kravtsov, and he may wait out Lundqvist as well. Or they may just go, let's get rid of these two unhappy campers now before we get the season starting anew. So who knows? Maybe still watching the Rangers and some of the pieces that we wondered about going back to last year. And JT Miller. We know it's not going to be Miller anymore, but maybe the Canucks land one of those guys still in any event. Ricky, marvelous stuff. Thanks for making time, buddy. We'll catch up next Friday.
Always a pleasure. Talk to you later. Have a good weekend in Penticton.
Go plant some plants in your de jure garden.
You know what, Blake? If I could just get you in a headlock and give you just, you know what? Anyways, have a lovely
weekend. Have a good weekend, buddy.
Thanks, Rick.
Have a lovely weekend, especially you, Matt.
See you, pal.